it also gives you an opportunity to now get excited again. I think we need to get excited again. I think we need to feel something new, something fresh, to kind of be like, you know what, this might be the thing that can change the dynamic of how we're playing. I think that's what we need at the minute, and I honestly think Saka would potentially spearhead us to the title if he moves to the attacking midfield position, man. And I really mean that. I've been saying this for ages, bro.
The only thing I disagree with you on, D, right, is I think it's more than just a quality issue or an intelligence issue in that number 10 role. I think it's a system issue, because it seems to be no matter who we put in that 10, they're not coming up with the goods in terms of we're not creating so many chances to score goals regularly.
No, we don't play with a 10 though, do we? That's the point. We play with 2-8.
That's true, but I'm talking about in the more, because I'm assuming you're talking about in the more.
I agree exactly with what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
So the only thing that I'd sort of come back with and say, you're right, Saka's a very intelligent player, but so is Eberechi Eze. Eberechi Eze is an extremely intelligent player as well, but at times this season he's looked lost in that position, and the reason being is because the system doesn't allow him to have the freedom that is required in that position, because he's having to do that defensive work so much. And I think it wouldn't be much different if you played Saka there.
I think the reason why I think it'd be completely different, and the reason why I'd say that is, one, Saka's been at the club for a long time. He understands a lot more. Eze's only just started. We have not seen the best of Eze. We don't know if he's going to come good next year or the year after. That's the first thing. The second thing with Saka is far more direct than Eze is. That's the difference. It's not so much about Eze's not a runner with the ball. Eze's a passer mover. He's a skillful player. Saka is not as skillful as Eze. Saka is less skillful, but he's more efficient. So in that position, you need an efficient player to really get the most out of that team. That's the point I'm making.
I don't know about that. Like I say, I think for me, the system is the problem, because Arteta wants everybody to do their defensive work, which is fine. It's understandable and that. But at times, no matter who we play in that sort of attack-minded midfield position, they're so deep, they're so focused on doing their defensive work, that all of a sudden we forget that we're attack-minded midfielders that also have to provide our attack and create opportunities as well. Doesn't matter whether we play Odegaard there. We've seen from Odegaard, right? Odegaard is a lot better player than what he is showing right now, because we've seen it. Eze is a lot better player than what we've seen at times this season with him in that role. But there's no freedom that's being allowed in that position, and that's the problem for me. And it doesn't seem to matter who you play in that, and intelligent player or not.
Yeah, but they're very different players. Like the players that you're talking about in terms of Odegaard. Odegaard is a pass and move player.
Yeah,
who doesn't shoot, who can't shoot. So of course, when you've got a system, when Odegaard's not playing well, you're going to be able to see his flaws a lot more than Saka. Saka's an individual player that is able to create on his own. So if there's a moment of time in a situation, do you know how many chances Odegaard had against PSG when we went out? Where he had edge of the box, shooting opportunities, that nothing to do with the system, just sniffing out the danger at the right time, and the ball fell to him. Saka's far more clinical than Odegaard is in certain aspects, which is why...
Is he more clinical than Eze? From the edge of the area, is he more clinical than Eze?
Who, Saka? That's a matter of opinion, isn't it? You might think Eze's more, you might think Saka's more, but Eze's only just come to our club.
No, I'm not even saying that Eze is more or Saka is more. I'm just saying, from an attribute point of view, I see similarities between Eze and Saka, which is why I think that if Saka was to move to that 10 role, yes, he's been here a lot longer. He knows this, he understands the system a lot longer. But I feel that even if you put Saka in that 10 role, we wouldn't see much of a difference, because he'd be so focused on doing the defensive work, like what our 10s are, that the attack side of our game. But basically, what I'm saying is Arteta needs to just give his 10 more freedom, and we would see better performances from our current tenants.
I get that, but the two things, the difference about that is, one, Saka's naturally more hardworking than Eze is anyway, naturally. So, so where you think Eze lacks, Saka does that naturally anyway, works hard and presses hard. That's the first thing. The second thing is, Eze has not had a chance to prove that he's the best 10 in the league, because he's had a couple of games there. He's on the left, he's on the bench, he's in the 10, he's up, down, left, right. He hasn't had a chance. So we don't actually know. We can't really compare Eze in the 10 and Saka in the 10 because he hasn't had a chance to play a run of games there. Arteta doesn't trust him enough.
Can I quickly ask D? Because I hear what you're saying about Saka in the middle, and I know you've been crying out for a while. So I'll give you two options. Which do you think is stronger? Saka in the 10 and Madueke on the right, or Saka on the right and Eze in the 10? Which of those two options is better? If you were picking a team, would you put Saka 10 and Madueke right, or Saka right and Eze 10?
It's a good question, Dan, man. The only reason why it's such a good question is because of Madueke's output, his lack of goal scoring. That's a really good question. I think Saka is so dangerous. I think he could spearhead us to the league. So I would say I'm more likely to put Saka in the 10, put your best player in the most dangerous position. I understand what you're saying, Eze in the 10 and Saka right. I do understand that, but I'm going to put my best player in the most dangerous position. That's what I'll do.
So you could play both. You could play Saka and Eze and then drop one of Rice.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Saka has output from the right wing anyway.
Not enough.
Maybe not enough, but he gets output from the right wing. And Eze has proven this season, given his lack of game time and all that he also gives us output.
Eze uses the ball too much. This is the point.
Yeah, but that's the whole. This is the annoying thing, though, D. We're so stuck in this. Oh, the system. The whole point of having a attack-minded midfielder is they are supposed to make the risky passes and potentially lose the ball and turn it over. Like, look at Bruno Fernandes at Man United, for example. Right, he loses the ball an awful lot, but he creates an awful lot, and he sometimes single-handedly wins the game.
Do you like that?
Do you know? Do you
like what Bruno Fernandes does? Do you like that?
Yeah, I don't mind it, because the point being is we've got a back four, which we would all argue is the best in the league, potentially the best in the world, and we've also got two more like a midfield pivot of two more defensive-minded midfielders in that middle behind our attacking midfielder. So why can't you rely on these players to do the defensive work for the attack-minded player and let the attack-minded player have the freedom to do what he should be doing in attack?
I'll tell you why. Because when Bruno Fernandes isn't assisting or scoring, it becomes a massive detriment to your team. That's the reason why. So
it did when he was playing. It did when he was playing in the 8. I agree with you. But when Bruno plays in the 10, and he's got a defensive structure behind him that is solid, it is not required for him to do as much defensive work. That's where I'm going with it. I think we have such a strong defensive line and a midfield two behind our attacking midfielder that we can almost rely on them a little bit more to do the defensive work and allow our 10 to have more freedom to do the attacking side of the game.
I'm not mad at what you're saying. I'm not mad at it. I understand what you're saying. But the reason why people class Bruno Fernandes as one of the better 10s is because of his output, not because of his gameplay. It's two different things. So his output will make you feel like, oh yeah, he's getting goals and assists, so he's one of the best 10s. So that it depends. Like I say, everyone always looks for the output, which is what I like. I believe Saka could get the Bruno Fernandes output with the gameplay of Odegaard. That's my point. I think Saka has every attribute to be able to be almost a perfect 10. That's
but again,
point.
If you go back to the 21, I think it's 21-22, when we first competed for the league, if you look at Ødegaard in that season, Ødegaard had the freedom. You didn't actually see Ødegaard dropping deep, collecting the ball, doing as much defensive work. And you see how effective Ødegaard can be as well. So this is where I'm getting to. The system is the problem, not the players in particular. Although when obviously we discuss Ødegaard in a bit, I'll be one to say I think it's time to move on from him, but we'll get to that later.
What I will say is this: there's definitely been a system change at Arsenal in the attack, because the stats don't lie. And this was sent to me by Tom Canton, Ryan. It was quite worrying when I read it out. So Gyökeres, Eze, and Madueke have 14 league goals between them this season, right? Which is pretty horrific in my opinion, but no, it is what it is. That's 1 goal every 217 minutes. In the 23-24 season, where we missed out in the last game of the season to Man City in the league, Eddie Nketiah, Smith Rowe, and Vieira had a better goals per game than that. Now, I'm not saying that those 3 players are better because they're not, but the system was clearly different. In that 23-24 season, after the same amount of games played, 79% of Arsenal's goals, which was 62 goals, were scored by our forwards or midfielders. At the same stage last season, only 66% of the goals were scored by them. And this season, it's just 58%. So basically, Arsenal are saying that we've gone from an attack-minded side to a not very attack-minded side to basically our defenders and midfielders now score. So if your name's Rice or Zubimendi or Gabriel or Timber or whatever, you pretty much got a good chance of scoring. But if you're in our attack, you probably won't be guaranteed a goal. And that is a system thing. That ain't all the attackers are crap.
And players are off form as well. The players that you Ødegaard's off form, Saka's off form. 2 years ago, they were in form. And let's not forget, 2 years ago, we had teams like Sheffield United. No disrespect, we're beating them 6-0, Palace 5-0, Burnley 5-0, beating teams, having field days, equivalent to the second after 91-92 season. Teams are different now. They're gonna play differently against Arsenal. Going to be more camped out. They'll be more organised. Fear Arsenal, not give as much away. So that's the stats you're talking about now is a combination, maybe of the way we play in terms of we're probably doing things differently. But those players are off form. We're playing a more regimented style, and teams are defending better against us, and sometimes in games they're better on the board against us.
I'll tell you one player who's not up for it, Martin Ødegaard.
Well, I didn't want to go there, but
if you want to talk about mentality and who's the weak link in this side, Martin Ødegaard is the weak link in this side.
That is very valid. Very valid.
Yeah. Let me ask very quickly then, to close before I bring the supers to close. Let me just ask this really quickly, right? A bid comes in the summer of 70 million euros. Raise your hand if you're selling Ødegaard.
I'll drive it to the airport. I'll come all the way from the States and land in, and I'll pick him up and take him where we need.
You say 70 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, all day.
He's got to go.
Strict, you disagree? Strict. Did you not put your hand up, or did I miss it? Oh,
he's thinking. He's thinking.
Oh, is he thinking?
He can't be thinking.
Let me tell you now, I would sell Martin Ødegaard and I would go and get Morgan Rogers. Done.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why?
Morgan Rogers is too hot and cold. No chance.
You think? I like Morgan Rogers, man.
No. Absolutely. Morgan Rogers is the most hot and cold player.
Who would you get then, D?
He's a bit box to box, though, isn't he, Morgan Rogers? Morgan Rogers and Martin.
He's very completely different players.
He's kind of a Big Frank type, isn't he? Big Frank. Big Frank type.
Yeah, but that's what we need, though, isn't it? Because that's
without a shadow of that, we would have to change. He would have to, because of his potential. He is a different kind of player. Maybe if we had a different coach with different emphasis, Morgan Rogers will fit in with Arsenal. But I always look at players, and from now on, whenever we get a player and they play in like forward positions like midfield and the front three, I always have to look at it and think, right, I've got to think of what Mikel will want. Because Mikel's very much Alpha and Omega. Because we kind of got burnt with a few players over the years that have come to this football club, and we haven't factored in the demands on them tactically.
Interesting. Stricto, I know you got a fly, bro. We're gonna stop on here anyway. Let me bring these.
He hasn't answered the question about Ødegaard.
He doesn't want to answer the Ødegaard one, man. You can tell he doesn't want to answer it, bro.
what was that? Would you sell Ødegaard for 70 million euros in the summer?
Euros or pounds?
Pounds, whatever you want to call it. 70 million. We all raised our hands, by the way. All of us.
So I didn't hear that. Say that again, bro. I didn't catch that. Sorry.
Would you sell Odegaard in the summer for £70 million?
Woo! What did everyone say?
We all raised our hands, by the way, Street Day, all of us.
What, raise your hand to sell him?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? Yeah, I hate sentiments. I'm a player that I'm a guy that hates sentiment on players.
2024, 2 years ago, bro.
Yeah, it's part of the growing process.
That's what I'm hanging on.
He's got a goal. He's got a goal, man. He's got 70 million. Oh, 70 million pound. You've got a ready-made 10 in Saka that goes there, and you go and buy a top winger, bro. That's
it won't
basic.
Be because of Saka. It won't be because of
let me see if I can convince you, Strict, though. You spoke an awful lot tonight about mentality. Do you think Odegaard has the mentality?
I think he has.
He's the weak link.
I think he has, and you. I don't listen. Do you know what? It's a tough one for me. It looks like it's easy for you lot, but for me, I just can't get over how instrumental he was in that 20. Is it 23, 24? Is it 22, 23 season?
22 seasons.
No, you know what? Oh, sorry. Do you know what? Actually, see the question. Yeah, the question matters. Depends if we win the league or not.
Why?
Because if we win the league, I feel like our squad is able to continue to do this and add players. If we don't win the league, then
I think. You know what? No, I wouldn't sell Odegaard. I wouldn't.
It depends. It depends if you win the league or not. To me, but he's going now.
If we win the league and we want to be elite next season, and we need because to be elite and to be the team that we should be, because Arsenal never had the domination of English football that it should have since the 30s. You can say to Martin Ødegaard, thanks.
No, but you know what it is? The feeling that I would have.
We're now going to get better you in the position because there is better than Martin Ødegaard back there. There is.
But the feeling that you would have and how happy you are and stuff. I don't know if selling a player immediately.
This is when we've got to be more ruthless. This is when we've got to be more ruthless. When we win things and we dominate, that's when we've got to.
Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds good, Ken. It sounds good. It does sound good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand how it depends on whether we win the league or not. I mean, if we win the league, it won't be because of Martin Ødegaard. He scored one goal.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You don't know that. When Ødegaard came on against Newcastle, he changed the game. When he came on against Brentford the other day for the first 15, 20 minutes, when he came on,
first 5 minutes, yeah, and then he lost his man at the back six.
We don't know. He's still a youthful player,
not a starter. You're talking
Odegaard has suffered a lot of injuries as well. Even this season, man got injured 3 times this season, like back to back.
Odegaard's not been right since his missus gave birth to that kid. I don't know whether he's like having sleepless nights and all that.
No, let's not do that. Let's not do that, bro.
Man said that kid, you know, it's crazy.
Let's not do that, Brendan. Let's not do that. Listen,
it's true though, isn't it?
No, let's not do that, man. Man's a father. Listen, let's not do that. Let's leave that. But what I'm saying,
I feel for him. I've got 3 of my own, but Jesus Christ, like you can't be playing like 1 goal all season.
What I'm saying is,
that's about how many he scored last season.
He's had a lot of injuries. Literally, he's come back. He got injured at internationals. Yeah, hasn't been the same really. Like he was just getting back into it. He's had issues finding his form again. But one reason why I struggle to say I'll easily get rid of Odegaard, because I know there's a player in there, and coming off now this last few games now, he will perform when he's not expected to. There'll be that game 100%. Where everyone's saying, well, Odegaard, the mentality is not right, and then boom, he's picked up, he's got an assist, or he's let off 1 shot, won us a game,
and he's a unique player. There's not many players like him as well.
Hey, are you talking about the game against Mansfield by any chance? Because I don't class that. You know what I mean? Like I want him to perform in the Premier League, not Mansfield.
Even if it's Mansfield, it gets us to the next stage. At this stage where we're talking about mentality, it doesn't matter who you're facing. Fucking get it done, whether it's Mansfield or Wigan. Yes, I know the quality ain't there with Mansfield, but you still got to go there and you still got to perform. But I do feel there is still something in Odegaard, and I think there's a lot of games still for him to turn it around. I know.
Do you agree he's a bit overrated though, guys? Like look, I'm not saying he's a bad footballer, but he ain't as good as Paul Merson. He ain't as good as Ozil. He ain't Bergkamp. He ain't Fabregas. He ain't Cazorla. He's just an all right, decent player, and he hasn't been decent for us in my opinion for the last 2 or 3 seasons. So
we you know what it is? It's not about his ability. It's about if Arsenal want to win major trophies consistently, it's about that. and he ain't got it. He simply hasn't got it. Name me one time where we've been under pressure and we've had a pressurized game or pressurized moments within the season, and Odegaard has arisen, because he's the first one that goes missing every time.
What 10s are better than him in the league?
Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes.
Who else?
He's better than him.
I hate the way you said Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes is levels above him, and you know it.
But who else?
Bruno Fernandes is better than him. Yeah.
Yeah, he is 100%. I think
Listen,
Cole Palmer's better than him as
there's
well.
probably a lot of players that are better than Odegaard. I don't think that's
there
even
is.
the argument. I don't think that's the argument. But I think in this Arsenal system, in the manager and what we know, he does fit the system. He knows the system. He's just off form.